Hello, everybody on YouTube land. You don't have the boring view. You have this beautiful shimmery pink thing going on. I don't know if it's shimmery, but it's pink, and everything I do is pink because I had a shitty childhood, and pink means childlike. No, I'm just kidding. Good evening, everyone. It's Monday night. That means it's YouTube Live. Just post if this is your first time ever joining me and where you are tuning in from. I always love to see that. And every single week, it takes me a few minutes to actually see where you're posting. And let's see. Okay, there we are. Hello, Melissa and Karen and Grace and Yvette, Christina, Dana, Eileen. Everybody's popping on. This is good. Don't forget to give thumbs up because the YouTube algorithm likes it. And I guess so, therefore, I do too. So every Monday night, you join me and I am able to interact with you and take questions about all things energy and self-improvement and philosophy and just my general thoughts on things that you want to ask me about. So it's typically not a time for personal intuitive questions, although sometimes, sometimes I do take the night and say, hey, it's personal intuitive questions, and I do that, but that's rare and that's not necessarily tonight. So just post where you're tuning in from, and let me see who's here. Nicole's here. Oh my God, Sydney, not happy birthday. Nope. Congratulations on your engagement. That is exciting. I saw that on Facebook. Maria, hello. Marissa, Jackie, hello. And let's see, Melissa, I didn't miss you? Nope. Middletown, hello, Pam. Everybody's joining me. I love it. So how many of you actually watched my YouTube video that I posted about the lemon trick? Let me know how many of you saw it, and also how many of you have done it or have plans to do it, because I want to talk about this. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Hey, Kim. Hey, Sue. Hello, Jill. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Regina. Crit from Wichita Falls, Texas. Oh my gosh. Tell me how you heard about this, Miss Wichita Falls, Texas. That's exciting. I look like I'm floating. Oh, maybe I have to do something here. Hold on. One moment, please. Is this better? Is that a little better? Maybe that's better. Thank you, Jill. I love this background too. Shanali, oh my gosh, from DC. Hello, I'm so glad to see you on here. That's fantastic. Melanie, Lisa, Regina. Good. Excellent. So you did. So for those of you who don't know what the lemon trick is and what I'm talking about, last week, I don't even remember how it came up or why it came up, but last week I mentioned that there is this trick to freeze energy around a person or a dynamic within yourself too, or a dynamic external from yourself. So if you have a person, say a boss or a coworker, or a significant other, or a child, a parent, a friend, an ex, whatever, say you have this negative dynamic and you just don't like it. You have a negative dynamic about you have excessive fear over money or fear over success, or you're constantly anxious or anything, lack of self-confidence, all of that. What you do is you take your intention of changing the energy and freezing the energy around that dynamic or that person. And it's not, and I said this in the video, it's not an opportunity for you to like all of a sudden like wish harm. It's not crazy, creepy voodoo. You know me by now. That's not what I'm about. But what it does is it sets the intention that you want the dynamic as it currently is, which is probably a negative one if you're doing a lemon about it. And it freezes the energy around that dynamic so that you then get to recreate the energy in a different way. Maybe that means that person just leaves your energy field. Maybe that happens, and that has happened for me in the past where I've done the lemon trick and the person doesn't show up in my life anymore. It's like so amazing. I don't think that's the case all the time, but I believe in possibilities. So you're not wishing harm on anyone. You're not like spewing anything negative. You're not even saying like, oh, I don't like this person. You're just acknowledging a dynamic or that your vibrations don't match. And you put that person's name on a piece of paper and you cut a slit on the top of the lemon. You stick the paper with their name on it or the dynamic on it into the lemon, and then you throw it into the freezer and it freezes the energy around the person. So I've known about this for years and years and years, and I've done it for years and years and years, but I forgot about it until it came up last week. So naturally I had to do it this week, and we shall see how it goes. Let's just put it that way. So I'm glad to see a lot of you are doing this. Let's see. You're worried your husband will find it. That is hilarious. So if anyone asks you, like, what the heck are all these lemons? Just say nothing. Just leave them there. Don't touch it. I leave them there for about a year. I leave them there a long time. And then when I just feel like it's all good and the dynamic is like where I prefer it, then I take them out and throw them away. Or like not recycle them, but like throw them in the yard to be compost. I don't know. Karen, go ahead. Yes, Karen, you need to do it around a certain thing that's going on in your life that I'm aware of. Sandy doesn't want her husband to find it. That makes me hysterical. Let's see, Marissa, Yvette. Yes, you like the outtakes too. Good. I didn't know those were getting put into the video. So Greg did that part at the end, and I actually got a big chuckle from the outtakes too, because I didn't realize he was filming me when I was writing things down, and I didn't know that. So I got a chuckle too, because I think one of them I said, oh, I like this. And another one I said, I don't know. Oh, I put a lot of names on that one. That just made me laugh because I don't even remember doing it, because that's exactly how I roll. I'm ridiculous. So try it. And Greg even had the idea, if you're bold enough to record yourself or have someone recording you while you do your lemon trick, post those videos of yourself to my YouTube page, and I will send you a little treat for doing that. So it's a little bit of engagement and a little incentive over the next week to get your lemon video in and what you did with it. You don't have to share what you wrote on your paper, because you all know I didn't share that. Hell no. Not sharing that at all. So yes, let me know how it goes. Let's see, let me read. You plan to do it. You may need a whole lemon tree. Yes. Did you see how many lemons I had? That wasn't a joke. I was like, oh, here's another lemon. I pulled a lemon out of the bag and like half of it was like molded and disgusted. And I was like, we just bought that bag of lemons like maybe 4 days before we did that. So gross. Let's see. Debbie, you've got to do it. How long do you keep it in the freezer? I always keep it in there for a year. I did use a lot of lemons, Annie. Oh, let's see. With the extra lemons cut. What extra lemons? Are you kidding me? If I had another bag of 30, I would have filled every single one out, Maria. Every single one I would have filled out. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Hello, Amber from Beacon. How many lemons are in my freezer? Just however many I did. I don't even remember how many. I think there was a good like 6, 7, 8, probably 8 of them. Maybe a little more. Greg did one, just one. I was like, do you need more? Here, we have more. He's like, no, I'm good. It's like, that's weird. Did you put everything on one lemon? Because you can do that. I just prefer not to do that. You went to it. Kyle bought a chest freezer, went to Sam. She's ready to go. She's going to fill out thousands of lemons. Sounds good to me. Oh my gosh, Noreen, you're from Pearl River. You finally moved back like you said I would. Of course. Do you question me? Do you all question me? I question me. Don't worry, I question me. So that's good. I think that's good news, Noreen, that you're back. So what's the origin, Allison? That's a great question. I have no idea. I don't even remember how I heard about it. Maybe that's not true. I think I heard about it from an intuitive that I used to go to like let's see, how old am I now? It's like 20 years ago. I used to go to this intuitive. Her name is Tara. She is in Sedona, and she is like underground. I mean, not literally underground, but it's very difficult to find her at this point. So I believe it came from her telling us about freezing the energy and how to do it. but it's a thing. Like a lot of people commented like their grandmothers used to do it, and um I thought it was more like an Irish thing, but I'm hearing a lot of Italians saying their grandmothers did it too. So I don't know where it came from. Have no idea. And yes, Diana, it's okay to put someone's name on the lemon. That's what I did. And it's not something where you are like wishing harm on someone. That's no good. That's not voodoo. We're not making dolls, nothing creepy. It's just that there's a certain dynamic with someone that you don't resonate with, and you want that energy to change, or you want them to go away. You want them just to no longer deal with your energy. This is when it's good to do that. This little piece of hair is driving, nope, it's over here. It's driving me crazy. Okay. So that's what this whole thing is. It's about freezing the energy around a certain dynamic, a certain person. So you can write their name. It's not going to make them die. It's not going to make them sick. If you want them to go away, it doesn't mean like die or sick. I did this many years ago, and there was a neighbor, and he was a little kid. He was like 15 years old at the time. My kids were very little, and he used to show up on my front porch, and it would make me crazy. And I just didn't want him hanging around, and he was around my kids, and he wasn't really a good teenager. My kids were like, I don't know, 2, 4, and 6. I mean, they were babies, and I just didn't like this teenager. Just didn't get a good vibe. So I put his name on the lemon, and from that day on, he never showed up on my porch again. And I was like, oh my God, this really works. So we will see. We will see about the lemons that I did yesterday. We will see. Heather from New York, first time. Thank you for joining me. So tonight is all about just one, I like the interaction with all of you. I like that um, I do my work for so long that I don't know what people still want to know, because I feel like I'm always talking about the same stuff. And I always forget, like, what do people want to hear? What do people want to know? So this is not a time for personal intuitive questions, but it's more broad. It's more of a learning base for you to just gain knowledge from me. um, and that's it. So that's what tonight is all about. And I like meeting all of you through here. So it's just become our regular Monday night thing. Let's see. Diane, if you are their caregiver, that's a great question. It's totally fine if you're their caregiver, because it's a dynamic. It's more about a dynamic you don't like. So it could be that, oh my gosh, this person isn't aware, grateful of all that you're doing for them. And you might not like that. So you could put their name and say, I'd really like the energy around so and so and myself to freeze. I do not think we can do this for 2 other people. Like, say you have two kids that are fighting. I don't know, maybe you could. You as their mother or parent or something could say like, "Oh, I'm not happy with my 2 kids fighting." So never mind. You could do it for other people. You have the intention. So, um, you're making frozen lemonade. Do I have a name for this lemon? Yeah, I bet you do, Eileen. I've been thinking about this all the time. Have I ever experienced a noticeable difference after you froze the lemon? I really, truly, truly have. So I've done this, and I think it's like one of those weird things. And I really do believe that you're setting time, and you're taking some sort of like little ritual, little motion to make an intention. And the intention again is not ill will. Trust me. I was gonna say I have people, but I really don't have people. I have like one person that pisses me off. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh my God, go away. And so that one person, I'm not trying to make them go away. I just want the dynamic to not come near me. I want it to freeze where it is. So it's nothing bad going on, and no ill will towards anybody else, even though the temptation is there. Like I said in my video, no ill will. Mike, thanks for joining me. Oh no, Kathleen, thanks for joining me. You saw your co-host. That's such a great venue. I love that every time. Okay, so Melissa has a question. When you lose, hold on, let's see, an unborn child, what happens to the spirit of the child? The child's spirit was already intended to come into form and then go right out. So the spirit is in the exact same place as all energies that pass over. And in that case, and that little energy's case, depending on when they have passed, they may not have actually come into true form anyway. So it's hard to say when the soul is connected to to the baby itself, to the body. I think the soul is pre-programmed before the body, but I don't think everybody believes that. Let's see. Annie, you look forward to this. Do I believe in spirit guides? That's a good question, Jill. We were just talking about that last night. Let me move all this stuff. Let me go over this too. Gallery at the Center, November 30th. This is at my center. Shireen Baff is there with the Intention Jewelries. It's the channeled energy. This woman is amazing. She does spirit guides and goddesses and angels. And I am a big, not a skeptic, but I'm hard to convince of energy because I have such a strong feeling about all of that myself anyway. Shireen is amazing. She and her daughter come, Adrian, twice a year, every Mother's Day weekend and every weekend right after Thanksgiving. It's been our tradition for, I think it's 10 years now. And you can come to the gallery from 10 to noon and then stick around to feel the energies of the bracelets, or you can just show up at 12:15. And she's there till about 2:30, 3 o'clock on Saturday, November 30th. So that's at my center. More details could be at the emailed to me at info@beingdoing.com. And the gallery at December 1st, which is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, so I will be busy that weekend, at Old Erie in Middletown, New York. So I will be back at the Old Erie. And if those of you who have a space that you're interested in having me come do a gallery or some sort of function, intuitive question night, even workshops and speaking engagements, please reach out to us. Deborah at deborahhanlon.com is my personal email. So send that my way in all areas, even Texas. Let's talk. And soon I'm going to be on a radio station in New Mexico. I'm going to have that posted soon. So I'm branching out slowly but surely. So Jill, thank you for your patience. Do I believe in spirit guides? I do believe in spirit guides. I don't tell people what their spirit guides are because I am so big on proof that I always feel like, how do I know if that is really their spirit guide? Getting hot down here because I'm drinking tea. So how do I know if that's their spirit guides? I am too much of a not skeptic, but logical minded person. So I'm not strong or don't feel strongly enough to be able to say to people who their spirit guides are, but I do believe in them. I have a different take than a lot of people who say there's a certain amount of spirit guides given to each person. I'm not quite sure about all of that. I have done meditations where I have met spirit guides, and I was going to say all of them, but that's not true. A lot of times the spirit guides that I've met are actual people that I knew in physical form. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, the Native American chief that everybody always seems to see. And I'm not negating that, but it seems like everybody wants a Native American shaman as their spirit guide, but there's tons and tons more. Okay. Oh my gosh, Sharon, do tell. Sharon's saying, I feel like what you taught us in the last ETA, which is energy transformation awareness, is totally sinking in and working, that you may only need 2 lemons at the moment. That is awesome. So you're talking about the mirror effect, and part 2 of my energy transformation 4-part series is, in fact, all about the mirror effect, that what you see in others is actually something that is residing in you, positive and negative. So the negative stuff we see in others is something within us that they're pulling up. So that's good to hear, Sharon. That is really good. Crit, I would, yes, absolutely. If you're having a problem with sleep paralysis, can you lemon it? I would try it. I absolutely would try it. So any dynamic, you're setting the intention for the dynamic around this problem, this issue, this person, this business, this corporation, whatever it is, lemon it. Yes. That's going to be our new phrase, lemon it. Lemon it. No, this is not alcohol, I swear to God. Okay. Allison, is there a similar practice to manifest something? Frozen lemon in reverse. Funny you say that, because Greg mentioned putting some sort of lemons in the oven for that very purpose. And I was like, wait, what? No. And he was joking, but of course I was taking him literally. At least I thought he was joking. Right, Greg? You were joking about that, right? So I don't know of any like lemon trick for that. I know of intention jars. I mentioned one last week and posted a picture of the intention jar I have on my fireplace in my bedroom. And um, you can vision boards. I'm big in um, for manifestation. Uh, so anything like written in that form. But as far as something like the lemon, I'm not aware of it. But if I think of it, I will let you know. And by all means, all of you can share what you do too to manifest. Speaking of which, vision board workshops will be coming up soon too. So stay tuned for those. That's usually the last weekend in December that I do that to get us all ready for the new year. Let's see. Hello, Regina. This is your first time here. You've been to one of my events and you're from upstate. So hello. Thank you. Let's see. That's good, Carolyn. Thank you. Oh my God, Kelly, you are not in my freezer. You are not. Kelly is somebody who tunes in every time I'm on Q92.1, and somehow she gets through those phone lines every single month. It's like freaky. We don't know how she does it. And every month I'm like, first caller is going to be Kelly, and it is. And I'm like, that's not even me being intuitive. That's just Kelly. That's what that is. Allison, back to Club Helsinki. I will be back there. Probably March timeframe. I will be back, but it's another venue I adore. Gaho's Music Hall, Club Helsinki. These are the venues that I really love. Let's see, Jill. Thank you. Let's see, Noreen. Are you guys okay with this? Let me get rid of this. Oops, sorry. Okay. Things always seem to converge, be it positive or negative. Like I experience a lull and then things go crazy active. Is there significance to that pattern or just life? That's a great question, Noreen. Couple things. One, because your mind is so tuned in or plugged into that being the dynamic that's going on for you, then it is a little bit of a replay. So you're expecting it. So you're semi co-creating the expectation of that. So it's quiet and all is well, and then so much happens. So guarantee you that's what your early childhood was, that there was nothing going on, and then so much, and then nothing, and then so much. That's probably where you first initiated the pattern into your neural network of your body and your brain. But there is also a principle in physics that really does describe, and I don't know the name, chaos theory, it's got to be, that everything, in order for anything to come into order, it first has to have chaos. And I really do love this philosophy this, it's not even a philosophy, it's a what do you call it? Oh, fuck. What do you call it? Not an example, a formula. That's the word I'm looking for. My God, I swear, this is hibiscus tea. I should have just put vodka in it. But it's chaos theory for the formula that things are really chaotic, crazy, and then they form into a pattern, which then becomes known. And so certainty comes. And then through certainty either stays certain for so long, and then either you change things up so that certainty doesn't become stagnant, and then things go back into chaos and then back into order. Or if you don't make the changes once this certainty is stagnant, the universe itself throws curveballs. So I always say in my classes, you need to be the agent of change, because if you're not, the universe will initiate change for you. So we usually all like to be a little bit more in control, or at least think that we're in control of creating change. So in that case, we really all need to be constantly looking to go outside a comfort zone. That's with our bodies, minds, spirits, friends, careers, homes, all relationships, dynamics. We just always need to we can get comfortable, but then as soon as we're comfortable, we have to start shaking things up just a little. We don't have to go drastic, because if we are either going to be stagnant and universe will force change on you, or you start being the agent of change and change happens more gradually. So that's a great question, Noreen, because I know a lot of people will totally relate to it. Okay, Trisha, I heard about your friend. When someone dies tragically, do they know they have died? Absolutely. This is something that drives me crazy ever since the movie Sixth Sense came out, where Bruce Willis didn't know he died. That makes me crazy because follow that line of logic. If we don't know we died, then being dead doesn't feel much different than being physically alive or here in physical form, which is insane. Being dead, as far as what we know is dead, it's really being liberated, is a better word, because our spirit no longer has the limitation of our physical body, and we feel light. We feel light, and we are light. So light meaning not heavy. We feel light, but we also are light. We're illuminated. We're enlightened. We're like, oh my gosh, why was I freaking stressing my whole life? So it is very clear to the mind, body, and spirit when the soul or spirit or energy separates from the body, leaves the body. It's very clear, like, oh my gosh, that I keep saying it, the flesh suit. People in my meditation group are laughing at me when I call it that, but the flesh suit that we're all in is so heavy that the minute our spirit leaves it, we're like, oh, thank God. That was like weighing me down. Even if our life is wonderful and perfect, the flesh suit is heavy and dense and slows down our vibration. So absolutely, we are 100% aware that we have died no matter how fast it has happened, because the feeling of being liberated like that is so, so, so intense and wonderful. I've never heard a spirit say or an energy say, geez, being dead sucks. This is terrible. I've never heard any of them say that. They don't say that because it's not. It's liberating, it's freedom. It's also connection for them. So when we grieve, we're grieving the physical connection, and there's no way around that. When they are liberated, they get completely connected to everyone, everything, everywhere with no judgment. Things are just absolutely, it's like true, pure, unconditional love for anyone and everyone, even those who hurt us, which still boggles my mind. I am not going anywhere soon because I don't understand that concept. No, I actually do. So I always say they've got the good spot. They are aware. They are also aware that they're more connected to us than ever before. Amber, good job. You're finally tuning in from Goshen. You hit the ground running this morning. Oh, I hate that. Or unless it's hit the ground running in a good way. Bobby K, hello, girl. Let's see. Claudine, last week I spoke of Dr. Joe Dispenza. You checked him out and got his book, Breaking Through. Oh my God, you're going to love him, Claudine. He has a lot of YouTube videos, thousands. You just Google him, thousands upon thousands of videos with Dr. Joe Dispenza. So he's just a wealth of information. He's so uplifting. He's really empowering. I love any brain scientist who's also into spirituality, because to me, that's the perfect formula for humanity, because we do need our brains while we're here in human form. So we need to be able to access and retrain our brain, and it's called neuroplasticity, that our brains can be retrained into new belief systems, into new paths, into new conditioning thoughts, versus our old, outdated, shitty old thoughts and conditioning, like, oh, I'm not good enough, nobody's going to like me, I'm not smart enough for that job, or I don't have enough confidence. All those thoughts can be completely thrown out and upgraded and biologically make changes in your brain, which will affect your entire neurological system, which will then send messages to every cell of your body, and it will awaken, enliven, and empower your body. This is the stuff I love, because essentially where I want all of us here on the planet to get to is where we ultimately end up when we're deceased. And so when I've made that connection through mediumship, I realized, then what the heck are we all freaking out so much here in life? Why are we really, really terribly holding on to so much negativity, so much fear, so much old conditioning? That is my quest. And once we start to realize, like, oh my gosh, we don't even know what conditioning we have. We don't know what negative thoughts and beliefs are even negative because we accept things as truth. And as soon as we accept something as truth, we then live it out. And that's not the way things go. Everybody needs to upgrade their vibration and their old core beliefs. The negative core beliefs aren't bad because they're showing us exactly what we do need to work on. They're only bad when we keep entertaining them in our minds. And every single one of you listening, I guarantee you can think of three instantly, three negative core beliefs, things that you say over and over to yourself on a daily basis. And when you catch those thoughts, you catch yourself having those thoughts, which are on a habitual replay, you will start to go, oh my God, I'm the one who's creating all the bullshit in my life. It's crazy. And nobody likes to say that. No one's like, no, because all the bullshit in my life really is because of this. Well, yeah, there's circumstances, but it starts with ourselves first. So pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to the things that you are telling yourself often. Are you telling yourself you look fat? Are you telling yourself you're not good enough? Are you telling yourself that you should speak up more? Are you telling yourself, I got to get my shit together? Are you telling yourself you're lazy because there's dishes in the sink? All of these things and 8 billion more are negative core beliefs, and they are cluttering up and clouding your energy field, which infiltrates your cells. So there you have it. So Dr. Joe Dispenza does talk a lot about this on the neurological, biological, medical way form with hardcore proof behind him and facts and data. So it's not like spiritual woo-wooism, which is totally fine too, but I always like the balance of science and spirituality. I have, since I'm a kid, always understood physics to be the logical explanation of spirituality. That's what my whole thing was. And I thought it was truly known as that physics was the mathematical proof of God. I literally thought that. And when I realized, wait, it's not that, I thought that was crazy. I even have my tattoos are on my right foot. I have Om, which is the first universal spiritual sound. And on my left foot, I have an atom, a tattoo of an atom. So that's the merging of science and spirituality, which absolutely is everything to me. Okay. Hey, Paul. Hey, Carmela. Good to hear you and see you guys. I've been thinking about you, Carmela, all week. So I'm hoping things turned out good for you. I'm sure they did because you're freaking amazing. Okay. So, Allison, this is a great question. Does something really change 49 days after someone dies? Why do so many religions, traditions talk about 49 days? I'm fascinated by that fact too. Many different traditions have a 49-day, a 40-day. Most have a 3-day rule of like within the first 3 days of someone passing, you have to bury them, or 40 days afterwards, they have to light candles. And I'm amazed that there is a thread here. I'm also pretty intrigued by the fact that I always feel like I lose them off my radar, them meaning the deceased, between 2 weeks after they've passed to about 8 weeks after they passed, which is roughly around that time frame that all these religions are talking about, where I lose them off my radar. I've brought hundreds and maybe thousands of people through during that time period, so it's not an impossibility to do, but I feel them less, and I can't quite understand that. I don't know if it's my own brain with my own conditioning where I'm like, oh, they're in that time period, maybe it'll be a little more quiet. I don't think so, but it could be that. And it's not because they're like getting acclimated. It's not really like that. Those are the words mediums tend to use because we need to come up with some sort of explanation. But it's more of a I guess it would be like an energetic shift, but it's not anything where don't read that to be that they're freaking out for the first 40 days. Or, oh my God, if it's, I buried them 5 days after they passed, is anything going to happen to them? Is anything upsetting or anything like that? I don't totally know all the origins for all of that and the purposes, but I do find it intriguing that so many traditions do mention the same time frames. I'm also intrigued too that so many religious traditions have big um, like coming of age ceremonies around the same time. So like birth, there's usually one. And a lot of faiths around 7, 8 years old. There's another religious coming of age. And then again around 12 and 13, because those three ages are very big spiritual ages. And I find that to be fascinating that why did they choose those ages? And I'm sure there's logical explanations and historical explanations, but I think there's a lot more behind it spiritually. Okay. Maria, you said a question and I have to find it now. Hold on. You said something about the brain carrying memory. Hold on, I'm looking through. Do my eyes look weird when I'm scrolling through? I can't find it, but it says, as of late, slivers of my past as a child have popped up in my mind. I experienced the memories so vividly. What's with that? Um, well, it's probably a lot. Um, Definitely age starts kicking off some memories. Definitely when you lost someone close to you, that just creates what I call it a unconscious dredging of all your old shit, and it starts coming up um into your consciousness. So I do think a lot of it is because over the last year you've been going through so much grief that you're pulling so much stuff up that you're not even recognizing and realizing it. And then all of a sudden it is just like as it comes to the surface, you're like, oh yeah, remember that time when I was 8 years old? Or remember 14 years old, we did this. So it's imagine that all of your memories are buried deep in every bit of layer of your body, every cell. Very much so, like old toxic PCBs and chemicals are buried deep in the Hudson River here in New York. And the thing they wanted to do for the Hudson River is they want to dredge the river. Many years ago, we heard a lot about this. I haven't heard about it much, but they wanted to dredge the river. And what dredging means is that they would scrape the bottom of the river so that all of those chemicals are actually brought into the current. They're no longer sitting in the soil and mud underneath the river, but they're brought up into the water so that the current of the water can take them and remove them and just bring them into the ocean. And I love that imagery because I do believe that dredging emotionally is the same thing. And grief is like that scraping of all of the old crap that went on, even nothing to do with the person we're grieving. Just it starts the dredging process and it brings all that stuff up into our cells and into our consciousness. The important part is that what currents are we allowing to take it away? Or are we letting it all settle back into our cells? So that's what my energy transformation class is all about. It's about pulling it up and pushing it out, letting the current of energy take it away. So I would say it's that, Maria. Oh, and now I see your question. Do the brain store all memories? Um, I believe, and I could be wrong, I believe that they found I don't want to misquote, but there is something that I'm remembering reading where they actually found that the brain doesn't store anything. The brain has no memories whatsoever. It's just our perception gets pulled back up, which is we would call it memories. But I'd have to research that better so that I don't answer this incorrectly and people like quote me and say, "Well, Deborah said," and then I'm giving you wrong information. I look like an idiot. But I don't think the brain does store the memories. I don't think so. Like biologically, and there's no place that a scientist can go and find your memories, is what I'm saying. So there's no concrete. Yes, there's a part of the brain that stores them, but there's no place to go and pull them out and see what they are. So what are they? Do you know what I mean? Like they're just thoughts. They're just replays of energy in the way that we perceived them. Okay, let's see. How can you be, Heather is asking, how can I be more open to signs for my brother that's recently passed? I'll answer this a little bit more generically, so that everyone can receive information about this. But how can you be more open to receive signs from anyone who has passed? I always say first, be mindful of how often we beg for signs when we say, please come through, please let me know you're here. That's a little bit of what I call lack consciousness. It means that we are experiencing the lack of them, of their physical presence, But what we don't want to do is um, put out there, because if we put it out there, basically when we say, please come through, please talk to me, please show me that you're here, that's basically saying to the energy fields, you're not here, you're not here, you're not here. And what we put out into the universe is bounced back to us through the universe. So if we're saying you're not here, we probably won't feel them here. So instead, I always say activate gratitude. Say, thank you for showing up. Thank you for letting me know you're here. Thank you for that sign. Thank you for that wink. Thank you for giving me that moment of peace. Thank you for showing me the way. However you want to phrase it, say the words thank you right in front of it, because gratitude is an attracting energy. It is an abundance consciousness. And what we put out there, we bounce back. So if you're putting out there, thank you so much for receiving this sign, then you receive that back. That's first. Second, I would tell people not to get very specific. If I see a deer in the next 5 minutes, then I'll know you're here. Or play that song on the radio if you're here. Just throw it out generically. You can say like, thank you for letting me know the sign. Thank you for making it specific enough for me to see it. Thank you for letting me get it that it's you. You can phrase it like that, but try not to get so specific with them, because I think that what that does is we're looking for one thing and then we miss like 20 things that come up over here. Also, people always say to me like, well, how do I know if a sign really is a sign? And I will always respond to that. It's how you feel when you receive it. So the moment you receive those winks and those signs, you might just get a nanosecond of peace. It doesn't solve everything, but it might be just one of those, oh, wow, thank you. Might be that. And that's how you'll know if it's a sign. And then thirdly, if you cannot duplicate a sign, meaning if you can't make it happen again, it's probably a sign. But if you can duplicate it, it might have another explanation. So for example, if I could levitate this pen out of my hand and I could do it over and over, that would, one, be incredibly cool. And I'd be really excited with that, actually. But if I could do that over and over, it's probably some other force that's doing that. It's probably not the other side. But if all of a sudden this pen levitated out of my hand for no reason, and I couldn't duplicate it, that probably would be a sign. That's a dumb example because levitation is pretty freaky. So you guys get what I'm saying, right? You guys get what I'm saying. Yes, Allison, thoughts and things and words have wings. Be careful what we think and even say what we say to ourselves in our mind. We do have to at least be aware of what we say in our mind, because if we're conscious about our self-talk, it's a lot better than when our unconscious tape goes on. So if you say to yourself consciously, God, I'm so lazy, and it's a conscious thought, you can be okay and say that, because it might be true. You might be acting lazy right now, but there's nothing wrong with being lazy. It's just the connotation we put on it. So it's really our denial of what our tape is going on and the unconscious nature of it that's really detrimental. But if we're like consciously berating ourselves, we might be able to look at it and go, all right, you know what? I do need to get my act together and stop being so lazy. And so it could be a force of positive change too. It's when it's unconscious that we don't know why we're feeling so crappy about ourselves. It's because we don't realize, like, we keep saying, you're so lazy. Oh my God, you're good for nothing, blah, blah, blah. So bringing everything up to the conscious mind is the key here. And then you can still choose negativity. You absolutely still can choose it, but it's a conscious choice. Anytime anything is a conscious choice, it loses power, positive or negative. It's a conscious choice to think positively. It feels really good, and we just go in that direction. If we consciously choose to have a negative thought, we will not need to have that negative thought for as long. But sometimes I do really believe human nature needs what I call permission to be. And be mad, be lazy, be sad, be angry, be fucked up, be whatever. We all need permission to be that, and we need to give it to ourselves first, consciously, not unconsciously. Oh, Bobby K, can I come to your house? Why do you want me to come to your house? And no, I don't go to anyone's houses. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding. I don't do house calls, just in case people ask. Someone just asked me that this week, actually. Do you come to your houses? Like, nope. Why? Do you have a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Maybe I'll come then. Hello, James. I haven't heard from you or your people, so get back to me. Hello, Sue. You're not late. You're perfectly on time. Oh, look at that. Greg said the same exact thing. You're right on time. See? It's a sign. Okay, Jill, you have a lot of great questions tonight. How can we embrace our practice being more intuitive? Lately, I've had a lot of things happen and feel like I've been shifting and connecting to other energies. Is it a lot to do with trusting ourselves? It is a lot to do with trusting yourself. I think it's a lot more to do with slowing ourselves down and pausing and really feeling our own the tool. Our body, mind, and spirit is our tool of intuition. So everyone has a different intuitive experience, but it takes mindfulness and slowing down and pausing and checking in and really knowing, how do you receive your information? I'm very visual when I'm working with other people. Like, I see things in my mind's eye, but for myself, I feel it very deeply in my body. So it might be a little different. I'll also feel it in my body for people, but it's mostly visual. I don't see as many visuals when I'm trying to access my own intuition. And also, sometimes we just can't. Sometimes we cannot get out of our own way. And we just have to realize, like, okay, I have no intuition about this particular thing. And let yourself be in that space of not having intuition, which will help lose power over the feeling of not having a gut feeling on something, if that makes sense. So yes, trusting yourselves for sure, paying attention, slowing down, recognizing how you receive your information. It usually is like it feels right or it doesn't feel right. It's plain and simple. I would say 80% of our intuition is a yes or a no. Should I do this? Should I not? It's very clear, very black and white. And probably about 20% is like, oh, I'm not sure. And people will think it's the other way around. 20% is black and white and 80, I'm not sure. But I would say it's the other way around. 80% we usually know, like, yeah, it doesn't feel good. But do we listen to it? That's the key. There are many key points in my life that I can vividly remember knowing that I shouldn't do something. I shouldn't go out with someone. I shouldn't get married. I shouldn't buy a particular house, not the one we're in now. I shouldn't go to a certain college I knew, and I did anyway. And I viscerally remember the feeling of knowing, like, no, I'm so not supposed to be doing this, and then doing it anyway. So hopefully, that will be reminded to me the next time I have that feeling. And I do think that as we get older, we start to pay attention to it more. So paying attention is another part of it. Oh, Christine, this is a fantastic question. You guys are asking really good stuff too, and it's like all new stuff. Does spirit have emotion? So no, not really. And this is when people get really pissed off. So really what gives rise to our emotion is our human self. Emotion is a human concept. Feeling is not. Intuition is different than emotion. So emotion are all the anger, jealousy, happiness, joy, love, trust, sadness, despair, anger. You get the picture. So those are emotions. Intuition is a feeling. It's a connection. It's a knowing, not an emotion. When we lose the body, we are no longer in human form, that flesh bag that I was talking about before. When that dies, the only thing that dies on us is our body, the house that our spirit is residing in. So when we are liberated from our body, that energy is pristine, pure, connected, perfect, say white light. It's energy. And it is absolutely no different than any other energy on the planet. It's pure and pristine. So no, they don't have emotion. it's consciousness, it's awareness, it's allowing things to be just as they are because. Now, these are concepts as humans we can get as a concept, but actually living it out is a whole other thing because our identity is tied up in this, and our we confuse our consciousness and our intuition and our being human and our egos and all of that stuff. We get it confused. But no, they do not have emotion. So when people come to me and they ask and say, is my mom so sad that she's not with us anymore? And they answer no, they're not sad. People freak out on me and they're like, that's crazy. Of course, my mother was very close with me and I was her. She didn't want to leave me. It doesn't mean they're sad. It means that they're not feeling disconnected. So no, they're not sad. They're not happy. They're not angry. They can hold space and consciousness for your emotions, our sadness, our joy, our happiness. They can hold space for that. If you're happy, I'm happy. If you're sad, I'm sad. If you're frustrated, I'm frustrated. But it's not really theirs anymore because an emotion is a personalized form of energy. So no, they don't. And I think that's a fantastic question. So when people say, oh, I went to a medium and my mom is so pissed off, I'm like, I mean, I can see where a medium would say that. And I certainly have uh, given messages in the same framework, but it's not literal. It's not a literal sense, if that makes sense. I hope it does. How can you talk to a loved one at home, Tiffany? Just talk to them. Wait, a deceased one, right? A deceased loved one at home. Just talk to them. Use your imagination. I always say engage your imagination, and that is the key to your intuition, because the imagination will override the logical mind that is telling us, well, they died. They can't hear us. They're not here. That's the logical mind. And the logical mind is correct as far as form. In physical form, they have passed and they are not physically here in a body anymore. That is correct. But the intuitive self is so much smarter and knows, okay, but there's a spirit to spirit connection that I have, which is why I named my meditation and being able to connect with their loved ones, spirit to spirit, because it's our spirit connecting to their spirit. So just talk to them, use your imagination, pretend they're there, even though that's very difficult to do, especially at first, because it's sad. You're going to experience grief and lack and loss. And that's part of the whole horror of losing a loved one. Allison, our experiences are uploaded to the cloud, Akashic Records. Yes, yep. I do use the cloud reference often as well, because I feel like cloud computing came from the consciousness of humans recognizing that things can exist out there, data can exist out there, and then we can pull it into ourself at any point, which is ultimately what cloud computing is. It's all your data is out there somewhere, and when we access it, we pull it into our computer or our phone. Same exact thing with energy and consciousness within ourselves. So cloud computing is a beautiful analogy for what's going on. And the Akashic Records are this, it's like this, and I know you know what they are, Allison, but I'll explain it to others who might not know. It's almost as if it's a book, but not literal book. It's like it's a recording of all of our activities and all of our identities and all that we've done, past, present, and future, in this moment as the spirit that you are in this moment. So it's fascinating. I have not had an Akashic record reading. I haven't. I should probably get one. I'd be curious. But the Akashic records are accessible at all times for everyone. It's like a projection. It's like cloud computing, as if there's this library of all your existence, and we can go to the library and go, okay, I want to see, 400 years from now, who I'm going to be. That is ultimately in the Akashic records, and you would pull that book off the shelf and you could read who you're going to be 400 years from now, as well as 1,000 years ago, and that you would have your current lifetime in book form. So fascinating stuff. I don't do Akashic records I just know the concept of them. Okay. As we speak, spirits who are constantly being asked for signs are. Oh my God, Maria, I love it. That is some funny shit right there. I'm sorry. Maria is saying that all those spirits that were constantly like, show me a sign, help me out, throw me a bone. They're like cutting up their lemons, like, all right, Deb, stop dialing us up. Stop asking. We're fine. I want to freeze the dynamic. That is funny. That would be such a great, like, Saturday Night Live skit in reverse. Wow, of everything I'm saying. I love it. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Let's see, everyone's saying hello. Tiffany, you're asking, how do you understand the response? Sometimes you just have to accept that we're not going to. That's always hard, but I think it releases a lot of pressure on ourselves that we think we're not getting the memo, because I know a lot of people come to me and they say, I think so-and-so is trying to tell me something, but I'm not getting it. If they have something very specific they want us to know, they will never not get that message to us. So just know that you'll always receive exactly what you do need from them. But if you're grieving, you're going to miss a lot. You just are at first. And then it's a language that you develop over time. So it's not something that's very clear cut in black and white right away. It's a language. So I have different signs and winks that my brother, who passed 40 years ago, shows up for me, and I feel him more in those signs and winks than I do in his energy field. Like, I don't feel his energy in the way that I can feel your people's energy. Your everyone else's is much easier for me to feel than even my own family members. So just trust your responses for now, I would say, and keep having the conversations with them. Keep thanking them for giving you winks and signs and those moments. And just know that if you're not getting the winks and signs, it doesn't mean they're not sending them to you or that they're not around. It's probably more that we're just not getting the memo. And I'm a medium I do this for a living, and I will miss a ton of signs and winks for my own people. Okay. Hey, Dorothy, I love that picture of you and your daughter. Oh my God. Are spirits and guardian angels the same? Not necessarily. Nope. Angels are, from what I understand, and again, it's a realm I don't really do, but it's a higher, someone declared angels a higher form of energy. I don't like that thought process at all, because the concept of hierarchy, meaning there's angelic and spirit guides and saints, and that they're higher than us. I don't like that, because hierarchy is a human concept, and it doesn't cross over into a space that is all light, and there's no hierarchy. The light isn't like a lighter light and then a darker light. Light is light. There's no different hierarchy or shades of light, pure, pristine, white light energy. So I have always my whole life had a hard time of assigning angels as bigger energy or greater energy than ourselves. I don't believe they are. Some people will say they're more evolved. I could probably follow that line of thought on tonight, and then next week change my mind on that, because again, it's a concept of, well, they're a little bit better than we are. And in terms of energy, there's no such thing. So I do think that humans have placed more emphasis on different angels, saints, spirit guides. I think we've placed an emphasis because it's coming from the construct of the human mind of hierarchy, authority is better. This person up here knows more than we do. But those constructs are breaking down as we speak in society, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So hierarchy is becoming obsolete, actually. And about certainly in the next 500 years, there will be no such thing as concept of hierarchy, someone being the top and in charge and going down. And there's nothing really in nature that suggests that something is better than anything else in nature. Now, yes, don't confuse hierarchy with yes, there's the matriarchal elephant in the herd who takes over and kind of leads the herd. There's that, but she's not considered better, smarter, more pure. Um, Same thing as the lion, the king of the jungle. Like there's a hierarchy there, uh, but his energy is not considered better than, say, some dopey bird that's flying around the jungle. So the hierarchy of an energy being better is what I'm talking about. That's human made. That's a human made concept. Roses don't look at lilacs and go, "Oh my God, you're so much prettier than I am. Oh, you smell better." They don't do that. They don't have that concept. So those comparisons are is a function of the ego construct of the human mind. Hello, Melissa from Athens. Hello, Amanda. Georgina, what happens when you experience deja vu? Deja vu is it's like you're just experiencing time as there's no such thing as time. So deja vu is basically the deja vu literally means already been seen. And when you're having it and you already know like how a situation's going to turn out, like I'm talking like this and in a minute I'm going to move my arm and this is going to fall over and then Ted's going to walk in the door, and then all that happens. You're like, "Oh my God, I've seen this before." It's basically that you're having an awareness that there is no such thing as time. That yes, you're seeing it ahead of time because it did already happen in time and you're almost catching up to it. So we think the present moment is the present moment in deja vu, but actually when we have the deja vu, we realize, wait a minute, this has already happened before and it's like I'm getting the replay as if. So it's a an alignment, an awareness, a glimpse for whatever reason. I don't know what causes it. That we're just realizing like, oh my gosh, like there's no such thing as time because this already happened, even though it's just happening now for the first time. Does that make sense? I used to get deja vu all the time as a kid, and I can still remember very, very clear memories, usually playing with my friends next door, usually at their house. Like I've had so many different deja vu events that I remember being like, "Oh my God." And then all of a sudden Patrick's going to fall off the swing. And then he did. And then I'd be like, "How did I know?" And it's really cool. Deja vu is a really cool thing. And I don't know what brings it on. I just don't. Like, I don't know what, and it's usually nothing like earth shattering. It's just like a glimpse into something like dumb, Too bad it's not like lotto numbers. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Okay. So Pam, I'm glad to see you asking questions. Can energy show up in photos as a strange shape or color? Do I think it's a reflection from a digital camera? You have a few pictures that have strange things going on. It's a couple of things. I do think as cameras are getting more sensitive and better at capturing better pixelation, that we will see a lot more energy in cameras over time, for sure. Plus, there's just so much camera activity out there in the world. So I think we're just going to be picking up on a lot more. I hate the word paranormal because it always has like this creepy, weird ghost vibe, and I hate the word. But it's paranormal activity, so energy activity. So partly, yes, our cameras are getting better. We're going to pick up on more. Sometimes it's absolutely a reflection. Sometimes it's a thing of dust or the way light is coming at the lens. Absolutely. And other times there's no explanation. So it's hard to see, hard to determine. Years ago, people would send, and I'd encourage people to send photos of orbs and all that to me, but I don't do that anymore because I couldn't keep up with looking at everyone's photos and it was fascinating. But I have a pretty good sense of being able to tell if a photo is an orb or like dust particles or things like that. And I'd say about 90% of the time it's like dust and not paranormal in energy. But then there are definite times when it absolutely positively is something way more. Many years ago, 2007, I went to the James Van Prague workshop at Omega. And before he started the workshop, he took a picture of the big room that we were in. And I'd say there were about 300 people in this room. And he took a picture of before. And then for the whole rest of the day, we were all channeling energies and bringing in light and doing meditations. And he took a picture of the end of the class, and the amount of orbs and lights and amazing stuff was just flying all over that room. So I find that to be so fascinating. That always sticks in my mind. So there's definitely a way to capture energy. Let's see. Hello, Miss Nancy. I can tell when I'm on a high vibration, and sometimes I get stuck in a funk. What are ways to raise your vibration? My first online course, which we had ready, and then my person who was helping me get it out there, the social media person, kind of went MIA on me, and that was really upsetting. But my very first class online that I have to offer, it's already done, we just have to get it out there, is called Upgrade Your Vibration. So I have a series of exercises for people to do for that very, very thing. So how do you raise your vibration? So many different ways: music, dancing, better foods, exercise, getting connected with people you really enjoy, learning, sleep, rest, getting lots of rest, drinking lots of water, meditating. These are all good ways to raise your vibration. Noticing who sucks your energy. And that doesn't mean that person's bad or negative. It just means your vibration is not resonating properly with them. So I think we are either playing in harmony and a song like together. Think of everybody as like a musical notes. And we either play really well together, or it's a cacophony of energy and it's just too much energy. And you know, if it's a cacophony, that's horrible, like awful sounding, no harmony, by the way you feel. So I guarantee a lot of people have the more cacophonous, is that a word? I'm making it up. Maria, is that a word? I doubt it. Vibration, like at work and things like, and places like that, or even in homes. You can have it in your home too. So just pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Okay. When you have a dream about something and it comes true, is that a form of intuition? Absolutely. Yep, it totally is. You can harness that if you really, really want to. And I always say that Kevin Tedeschi at the Edgar Cayce Foundation in Virginia Beach taught me this, that he would say, like, you write a question that you need some guidance on before you go to sleep, and you write it on a piece of paper. You think about that for a good 5-7 minutes before you go to sleep. You can hold on to the paper or put it under your pillow, and you'll allow your consciousness to rest on a particular topic, and your dreams will show you an intuitive answer and guidance the next night. Or if you don't remember it the next night, you just keep doing the same question over and over until you do get an answer. Justin, oh my God, how are you? Raphael, I will never forget that. I will never, ever forget that. That was so fun. That was a fun night, fun group of people. And again, it's Club Helsinki, so I just love it up there. So I'll be back soon. And you have to tell me when you're going to be up there, because I'm going to bring my friend James if he's still on here. James, are you on here? Let me know. Because I think we need to go to one of Justin's events. So we'll be there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, this is a great question, Janine. Do our loved ones who have passed realized our hurt if they did indeed hurt us when they were alive, or do they feel our hurt? It's not a dumb question. This is an amazing question. They absolutely feel our hurts. They feel our hurts, and I wrote this in my book. They feel our hurts not from their perception of how they think they may or may not have hurt us, but they feel our hurt from our hurt. So in other words, I use this example in my book. If we made fun of somebody in 4th grade on the bus, and that hurt that person really bad, and they became very depressed from it, when we die, during our life review, we are going to feel that person's hurt from their vantage point. We're going to literally feel it from them. So it happens for everyone we've ever hurt, particularly intentionally hurt. Sometimes we'll feel, well, not sometimes, we'll feel the unintentional hurt, but it is regarded as such. It's regarded that it's an unintentional hurt. And that will give us insight and connection to someone. What happens now is when we hurt someone, we still maintain this ego of being right or justified or validated. And when we do that, we're being very human. We're coming from only our vantage point. And to a large degree, people can be empathetic and really and compassionate and put themselves in others' shoes, but we can't do it 110%. We can't do it perfectly. But when we cross over, we do. We absolutely feel it, and they understand it and they get it. That, and they're sorry for that. Because they're experiencing it as you're hurt. So take people like, and I used this before in this forum, people like Hitler. Horrible, horrible people like Hitler. So Hitler leaves his body when he dies. He crosses over and he is able to go to being restored to the perfect energy that he originally was. The human part of him became evil and horrible and acted terribly and disgustingly. But the spirit part of him was equally as beautiful as someone like Mother Teresa. It was his human self that turned for whatever reasons. And every person who died and was tortured and harmed and hurt under his direction, when he passed, he had to feel each and every single one of those 6 million people plus hurt and the ripple effects from their hurt. So someone as horrific as Hitler has to go through a very deep and intense and painful life review because he has created a ripple effect to this day of hurt and horror. So it's another way of viewing the fact that we really do unto others, because in our life review, we don't want to have to feel, that level of pain, intentional pain. So that's a fantastic question. Okay. If a person is intuitive, are their connections here as strong as the connections who've passed on? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, believe it or not. So if the person is intuitive, wait, I don't know if I'm reading that right. If a person is intuitive, are their connections here as strong as the connections who've passed on? So do you mean if someone was an intuitive here when they pass on, is that as strong? I'm not sure if I'm hearing that correctly. So if you want to clarify that, and I'll keep going and we'll get back to you. Oh, Bobby K, a place to do a gallery at your house. Got it. Diane, okay, so what's the difference between deja vu and being psychic? Being psychic or intuitive is the constant ability to be aware of being able to access that which may not have happened, which has not happened yet, which deja vu is a spontaneous experience that happens that aligns us to the reality that there's no such thing as time. And I don't think I'd be able to repeat that if I had to, because I'm like, what? Where did that even come from? But no, got it. I do really have it. So intuitive is just the ability and the awareness that you can kind of tap into the field, the energetic field, the field of potentiality of all that's going to come. And deja vu is a spontaneous occurrence or experience that aligns us and makes us aware of the fact that there is no such thing as time. Make sense? Okay. Allison, what do I think about Brian Weiss? I adore him. I love him. I've been regressed by him in a public big group. Future lives as well as past lives. I think it's fascinating. I've done it. I've had it. It's amazing. And I highly recommend it to everybody. It's like a lifetime of therapy in an hour. So I highly recommend. Do family who have passed on help guide your path in life? Do they put people in situations that they may have not have been there said while they were here? Yes and no. So they have they can't prevent us from our death, our family who have crossed on, or loved ones. Because there's already like a pre-programmed time and date when we are going to pass. We can change how we pass. We cannot change when we pass. So they can't intercept that. And I know a lot of times people will come to me and they'll be saying, I'm so mad at my dad. Why did they let, my daughter pass? And why did they let this happen? And they have no domain. They cannot change that. But if someone's not supposed to pass, then yes, they can they can intercept, which is why they don't pass, is because there's an interception. So those car accidents that people are miraculously walk away from, it one was not their time, so that's the miracle. But the reason why they were saved, if you will, was because that extra hand that they are able to help. But they can guide us. It's how well we listen, and some of it we have to experience. We have to have happen to us. Um, so they don't have like as much control as you would think they do. So don't get angry at them if something doesn't go your way, which is easier said than done. Because trust me, I pray to my deceased peeps, and I'm like, no, seriously, you need to make the outcome of this particular thing happen my way. But it doesn't really work that way, even though we want it to. Okay. Oh my gosh, Maria. 100%. Maria is saying, now I know what your background reminds me of, pop rocks. I'm so getting pop rocks for next week. And I'm just going to sit here with them on my tongue, and you're going to all hear them sizzle and pop. But yes, it 100% looks like pop rocks. I'm with you on that. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up here. It's been a fabulous night. We've been on for about an hour and 50 minutes, 20 minutes. Math, it's the opposite side of the intuitive brain. So I just want to remind everybody, for the next few moments before you log off, just practice quiet, calm breathing and mindfulness, and allow all this discussion to just settle in to your body, your mind, your spirit. If you are about to go to sleep, I want you to really practice your breathing in through your nose, hold the breath at the top, and then exhale out your mouth. Do that for at least 3 minutes. Give yourself 3 minutes. It'll seem like 3 hours at first, but give yourself that 3 minutes. It will settle down your energy. And then after you do that, I want you to start playing in your mind your day today. Rewind the day. And like I said before, close out the day in your mind. So just like in our computer screen, when we're done with different tabs, we X out of them. I want you to X out of your day so that you get present to exactly where you are right now, and you get calm and centered, and present is the word, into the here and now. And that will help you go to sleep. And if you are having a hard time sleeping because of anxiety or your thoughts going wild, like we all have at one time or another, I want you to really just keep focusing on your breathing and come up with a soothing mantra or word or phrase for yourself that is, all is well, I am okay, I am guided, I know exactly what I need to do. Whatever phrase works for yourself, repeat that over and over and over to calm your mind. And it's a training. So good night, everyone. Thank you for staying on with me. If you haven't watched my lemon video, go ahead and do that. And I will see you all next week. So thanks. Good night, you guys.